all for and by the people. You are the guest, you are the host, and you. Yes, you. You are the sponsor. Welcome back. We are back on our quest to continue to think and grow rich. We had to take a little break, those problems that arise out of nowhere, like moving, for example. Oh, the struggles. But we are over that and we are back and better than ever because remember, we are on a quest. We are challenging ourselves to go through the entire book of Think and Grow Rich because who doesn't want to think and grow rich? And we're gonna be the proof. We're gonna be the experiment. We're gonna do the experiment and go through the entire book. We cannot stop before we finish. And hopefully we start to truly think and grow rich. And as I always say, if you have seen previous episodes, and even if you have not, we wanna see the end result. And for that we ask you that you please come with us in the quest. Force yourself and take the step, make the effort. I know if it's not college, if it's not high school, if it's not work, it's hard to force yourself to finish something or to push yourself through a book or a learning experience, as long as without you having to a grade at the end of the semester or you having to pass a class, getting a diploma. But here we're trying to get the greatest diploma you could ever get, which is intelligence, thinking, and thinking that makes you grow rich, as we have been learning and experiencing. That is our goal, to think and grow rich. So without further ado, let us continue on our quest, little by little, of thinking and growing rich. Do not go. Here we go. Andrew Carnegie knew very little about making steel. I have Carnegie's own word for this, but he made practical use of two of the principles described in this book and made the steel business yield him a fortune. The story of practically every great fortune starts with the day when a creator of ideas and a seller of ideas got together and worked in harmony. A creator of ideas and a seller of ideas. Carnegie surrounded himself with men who could do all that he could not do. Men who created ideas and men who put ideas into operation and made himself and the others fabulously rich. So two people getting together, people who do, one person who does this, who does, let's say, A very well, and then one person who does B very well. Person A cannot do B, and person B cannot do A, so they complement each other and synergy, boom, money. Makes sense, right? Logical. Very like man who created ideas and man who put ideas into operation and made himself and the others fabulously rich. Millions of people go through life hoping for favorable breaks. Perhaps a favorable break can get one an opportunity, but the safest plan is not to depend upon luck. Do not wait for that one time, a favorable break. We get it. I mean, you could get it in life, the break, but we shouldn't, as the book says, and I agree, we shouldn't live our lives waiting for that break. We should rather find ways to make that break and many other breaks happen, because we do have the power to use our mind to make a break for ourselves. Let that sink in very deep. Perhaps break and get one an opportunity. The safest plan is not to depend upon luck. It was a favorable break that gave me the biggest opportunity of my life. But 25 years of determined effort. 25 years of determined effort had to be devoted to that opportunity before it became an asset. So sometimes it takes time, patience. 25 years for this guy. The break consisted of my good fortune in meeting and gaining the cooperation of Andrew Carnegie. On that occasion, Carnegie planted in my mind the idea of organizing the principles of achievement into a philosophy of success. Thousands of people have profited by the discoveries made in the 25 years of research, and several fortunes have been accumulated through the application of the philosophy. The beginning was simple. It was an idea which anyone might have developed. Everything starts as one simple idea, as simple and as mundane, as easy as it sounds. It is so. It starts with an idea, a simple idea. The February break came through Carnegie, but what about the determination, definiteness of purpose, and the desire to attain the goal, and the persistent effort of 25 years? What about all that? It was no ordinary desire that survived disappointment, discouragement, temporary defeat, criticism, and the constant reminder of waste of time. You're wasting your time. There's always going to be people saying you have no future in that, you're wasting your time. But that's the thing about desire. If desire is strong enough, it doesn't matter how many times you fail or how many times you do not get what you're looking for. You know and understand that you are still getting closer to your goal. You know and understand the principle that if your desire is strong, powerful enough, as if it is burning so deep within you, you know that that desire will become a reality. You know you will accomplish it no matter what, because of the intensity, because of the strength, the power of that desire. So if you really want something, your desire for it should show how much you want it. So how much you want it, in other words, is measured by the strength, the power, the intensity of your desire for it. Let that sink in. Let that sink in deep. Very, very deep. It was a burning desire and obsession. When the idea was first planted in my mind by Mr. Carnegie, it was coaxed, nursed, and enticed to remain alive. Gradually, the idea became a giant under its own power, and it coaxed, nursed, and drove me. Ideas are like that. First, you give life and action and guidance to them, to the idea. Then they take on power of their own and sweep aside all opposition. So it could be said that the idea is like a seed that you plant in your mind, and as time goes and as you feed it, it continues to grow and grow and grow. And then it continues to grow so much that it starts to give fruit. And then that fruit falls upon your mind and calls upon and attracts ideas which are similar. And not only attracts ideas which are similar, but those fruits that fall upon your mind also grow and also bring upon more fruit. And then the more you feed this idea, the more it grows in your mind. And the more it grows in your mind, then the more it becomes part of you, and it starts to drive you, as the book says. It starts to, you don't have to feed it, you don't have to push the idea into you, but the idea starts to feed you, and the idea starts to push you to act and behave in a certain way, because our actions and behavior, which in most cases lead to the results we get, to the success or failure we get, those actions and behaviors are guided and controlled by our thinking, by our ideas. So an idea that has grown so much is bound to have a very strong influence, powerful influence on every single action, every single word, every single our behavior, every single thing we do. And then it leads to us achieving that idea, or our lives become whatever that idea entices. Ideas are intangible forces, but they have more power than the physical brains that give birth to them. So the ideas have more power than our physical brains. They have the power to live on after the brain that creates them has returned to dust. For example, take the power of Christianity. That began with a simple idea born in the brain of Christ. Its chief tenet was, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Christ has gone back to the source from whence he came, but his idea goes marching on. Someday it may grow up and come into its own. Then it will have fulfilled Christ's deepest desire. The idea has been developing only 2,000 years. Give it some time. Wow. An idea that has been developing for 2,000 years. It goes way beyond the brain of the person who created it. Chapter 7, Organized Planning, the crystallization of desire into action. The sixth step toward riches you have learned that everything man creates or acquires begins in the form of desire. That desire is taken on the first lap of his journey, from the abstract to the concrete. So the desire is taken on the first lap, from the abstract to the concrete, into the workshop of the imagination, where plans for its transition are created and organized. In chapter 2, you were instructed to take 6 definite practical steps as you first move in translating the desire for money into its monetary equivalent. Desire for money. Desire that too many people have. Wait, hold on. Desire which too many people have. Desire for money. Everybody almost. How do we make the desire tangible? How do we make it a reality? In chapter 2, you were instructed to take the 6 definite practical steps as you first move in translating the desire for money into its monetary equivalent. One of these steps is the formation of a definite practical plan or plans through which this transformation may be made. You will now be instructed how to build plans which will be practical. Ally yourself with a group of as many people as you may need for the creation and carrying out of your plan or plans for the accumulation of money, making use of the mastermind principle described in a later chapter. Before forming your mastermind alliance, decide what advantages and benefits you may offer the individual members of your group in return for the cooperation. No one will work indefinitely without some form of compensation. No intelligent person will either request or expect another to work without adequate compensation, although this may not always be in the form of money. Arrange to meet with the members of your mastermind group at least twice a week, more often if possible, until you have jointly perfected the necessary plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of your mastermind group. If you fail to carry out this instruction to the letter, you may expect to meet with failure. The mastermind principle cannot obtain where perfect harmony does not prevail. Perfect harmony within a group, basically a group of people that are thinking like you, that have the same desire or similar desires as you do, and who motivate each other, who feed each other of the ideas, thoughts, and desires, and who keep the flame burning every time you get together in perfect harmony. Keep in mind these facts. First, you are engaged in an undertaking of major importance to you. To be sure of success, you must have plans which are faultless. Always have plans. Make plans. Second, you must have the advantage of the experience, education, native ability, and imagination of other minds. This is in harmony with the methods followed by every person who has accumulated a great fortune. No individual has sufficient experience, education, native ability, and knowledge to ensure the accumulation of a great fortune without the cooperation of other people. Every plan you adopt in your endeavor to accumulate wealth should be the joint creation of yourself and every other member of your mastermind group. You may originate your own plans, either in whole or in part, but see that those plans are checked and approved by the members of your mastermind alliance. If the first plan which you adopt does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan. So I believe that this mastermind alliance or group, obviously everyone is always trying to make money some way, somehow. And especially people who write books, sometimes, not always, are, trying to sell something. There's always selling to be done for people to buy. And if somebody wants to do it, I'm not opposed to it. But also, I believe, and my opinion is that you could also make it without this master group alliance. There's always people claiming that the only way in which you could reach a certain level or point or success in general is by joining their group or being with them or reading their book. And I'm not opposed to that because people sell, and if you want to sell and there's anyone that wants to buy, you could buy. But what I am opposed to is the idea that you are the only way, or that is the only way. I believe there's always 100 million different ways to get there. So we should always be aware that sellers will be sellers, and sellers will be prone to tell you that they are the only way because they want to sell. And that's okay, because you might want to sell too sometime in the future or in the past. But you should know that there's always a million ways. If the first plan which you adopt does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan. If this new plan fails to work, replace it and turn with still another plan, and so on until you find a plan which does work. That's what you gotta do. Trial and error, trial and error, over and over and over again until you find the way, until you finally find the way to come up with the light bulb. We make sometimes the mistake of seeing success, of seeing great, amazing, wonderful things and results, and thinking that they got it right away, or that they got it in a week, or that they just got it today without much effort. Because once you see it for the first time, you see it face to face. You don't see the 10 years of trial and error. You don't know it. You don't understand it. You only see the big thing right in front of your face. But remember that there is always a lot of trial and error for every big, huge, amazing success or result or status. There's always behind it many months, many years, many decades of trial and error, of learning, of falling, of getting up again, of trying this way, trying that way. That's when you learn, when you have tried a million ways that do not work, and every single occasion of those million times you tried, you learned how not to do it and what works, what's good, what's not good. Every single experience, if you pay attention, you learn a lot, and then you accumulate all that knowledge over the years, and then boom, you know how to do it perfectly, excellent, to the highest degree ever seen, and a success which is almost hard to believe, because you have learned so much about that thing which you have tried to do for such a long time. The most intelligent, right here is a point which majority of men meet with failure because of the lack of persistence. Lack of persistence is where a lot of people fail, where people give up. They do not persist. They fail 2 3 times and that's it. They're done. They fail 4 times. They're done. They don't see results in 3 4 days, in 1 week. They're done. Lack of persistence. Lack of persistence leads to failure. In creating new plans to take the place of those which fail. The most intelligent do not have lack of persistence. The most intelligent man living cannot succeed in accumulating money nor in any other undertaking without plans which are practical and workable. Just keep this fact in mind and remember, when your plan fails, that temporary defeat is not permanent failure. Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. Persist and resist. Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. It might only mean that your plans have not been sound. Build other plans. Start all over again and again, as much as you need to until you find the way. If the desire is strong enough, if it's burning intensely enough. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he perfected the incandescent electric light bulb. That is, he met with temporary defeat 10,000 times before his efforts were crowned with success. 10,000 times failed, and now the greatest. Temporary defeat should mean only one thing: the certain knowledge that there is something wrong with your plan. If you have a little small temporary defeat, that means that there was something wrong with the plan. We got to change a little bit of the plan. We got to change small aspect of the plan and try again until the plan is perfect, or as close as possible to perfection, because we never reach perfection. You could always, no matter what, continue to improve and perfect anything on this universe. Temporary defeat should mean only one thing: the certain knowledge that there is something wrong with your plan. Millions of men go through life in misery and poverty because they lack a sound plan through which to accumulate a fortune. A plan. You need a plan. How are you going to do it? What are you going to do? It doesn't have to be, I would say, on paper, but it could be in your mind. Which way are you going to go for it? Because if you're just waiting for the result and success, but you don't know how at all, like you have no idea on how you're going to try to do it, then chances are it will never come. But if you have a plan in your head, then you can execute the plan and see the results. And then if you don't get what you want, what you desire, then you try to you start to figure what was wrong with the plan, and then you change the plan, and then you try it again and you see the results. And then if you don't get it, then you change the plan again, and then you try, see the results. Trial and error. The more you do this, the better you become at anything you're doing, and the higher up you go, and the closer you get to be one of the best that ever did that, one of the masters of doing that. The master and the rookie, the new guy, the difference is that the master has failed 1,000,000 times already, and the rookie fell 2 times. And if he lacks the persistence that the master had to go to 10,000 times failing, then he won't get to that level. So failure is not something bad. A lot of people see it as something bad, as something that means you're not good enough, that means you shouldn't be doing that. But in reality, it's something that every single human being goes through. If you don't go through it, it's because you're not trying anything new. And people make the mistake of being afraid of it, or embarrassed, ashamed of it, when in reality is a blessing in disguise, because you learn and grow. It's learning and growing, which everyone wants that, but not everyone knows how to see it well. hmm Your achievement cannot be. Let me see. Henry Ford accumulated fortune not because of his superior mind, but because he adopted and followed a plan which proved to be sound. 1,000 men could be pointed out, each with a better education than Ford's, yet each of whom lives, but yet each of whom lives in poverty because he does not possess the right plan for the accumulation of money. A plan. You need a plan. Your achievement can be no greater than your plans are sound. That may seem to be an axiomatic statement, but it is true. Samuel Insull lost his fortune of over $100 million. The Insull fortune was built on plans which were sound. The business depression forced Mr. Insull to change his plans, and the change brought temporary defeat. Because his new plans were not sound, Mr. Insull is now an old man. He may consequently accept failure instead of temporary defeat, but if his experience turns out to be a failure, it will be for the reason that he lacks the fire of persistence. Persistence. The only time you fail is if you lack persistence. The only time you fail is if you lack persistence. No man is ever whipped until he quits in his own mind. You're never done. You're never over. It's never over until in your mind you quit. That's when it's over. This fact will be repeated many times because it is so easy to take the count at the first sign of defeat. Do not give up at the first sign of defeat. James Hill met with temporary defeat when he first endeavored to raise the necessary capital to build a railroad from the east to the west. But he, too, turned defeat into victory through new plans. If you find temporary small defeat, which is rather a lesson for growth, development, and becoming better, don't stop. Don't lack persistent. Develop new plans and you'll make it. I think for today, that is all we're going to go through. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Stay with us. Go with us through the whole entire book. And let's see each other think and grow rich. I'll see you later. Take care. Goodbye. Oh, also, wait, hold on. Please help us subscribe, like, follow. And we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere as OFB the P. Or if it's not OFB the P, it's O for and by the people. You are the guest. You're the host. You're the sponsor. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Take care. Now for real. Goodbye.